The off-season was a lot interesting, and I say that without any hesitation. It was really interesting. Now, some of the interest was self-inflicted. Other interest was what happened to us. So if you're looking at the screen, this is the Premier Division and how the places shake out. The first three places automatically qualify for Champions Cup Group Stage. Fourth place qualifies for Champions Cup Group Stage based on the winner of the Euro Cup. Next two places are Euro Cup Group Stage. Sixth place is dependent on the winner of the FA Cup. And then some places depending on the winner of the Carabao Cup. Now, Man United won the FA Cup last year, so they got a Champions League Group Stage, as shown by here. So Chelsea finished first there in the Champions League. Man City, Tottenham, and us qualified for Champions Cup. West Ham and Liverpool both went to Euro Cup. Man City got Champions Cup. What were the downsides to this? Well, instead of finishing second, if we had finished in second place, we would have gone into the second pot. Instead, we finished in fourth place, and we went to the last pot with Man United. And as a result, these are the group stages. Chelsea is playing Roma, Real San Sebastian, and Lokomotiv Moscow. Man United is playing RB Leipzig, Shakhtar, and KRC Genk. PSG, Barcelona, PSV, and Partizan are in a group. We're in a group with Bayern, Inter, and Benfica. Then you have Ajax, Real Madrid, Rangers, FC RB Salzburg, Borussia Dortmund, Porto, Lask, and Dynamo Kiev. Madrid, Napoli, Olympiacos, and Tottenham. And then Man City, Inter, Wolfsburg, and Galatasaray. I don't think it's unreasonable to say we're in the hardest group. Benfica placed second in the Portuguese Premier League last year. Juve finished second. And Bayern won the league last year. So the draw was Bayern, Juve, Porto, and then us. Or Benfica, and then us. So yeah, it's a tough Champions League draw. And we're playing Benfica today because we're that far ahead in the schedule. I got through the transfer window after the off-season, and we had an interesting off-season. I made a couple of decisions that, frankly, may come back to bite me, but it is the fifth season of the save. We have the fifth season, the sixth season, and the seventh season to A, win the Premier League, and B, win the Champions League. And this is the season that I think everything pivots on. We either get really close to doing one of those this season and accomplishing one of those next season, or we absolutely fall flat on our face. So as a result, if we look at our budget, we've got $68 million left to spend, and our initial budget was $1.23. I just had to increase the payroll budget. We originally had about £450,000 to play with. I was actually over the limit. They lowered my transfer revenue to 80%, then I just bumped some money down to take care of that. So the big news, at least for me it's big news, is I got an affiliate at the end of last season. I asked for an overseas affiliate. And one of the teams that was on the list that I absolutely jumped at was FCFM, or FC Sochaux Montbéliard. They are one of the best teams in France that you could get an affiliate at. Not only do they have great training facilities and youth facilities and junior coaching, they have a solid squad. They're in League 2. They could challenge for League 1 this year. But the nice thing is, the guys that I wanted to send out on loan to get work permits, I can send on loan and they will stay there. You know, I just assign them to the FCSM squad. They will stay there until they get a work permit or until they qualify for a work permit. So this is a new skin. One of the things I like to do is every year I start a new save until I find a skin that I absolutely, positively love, is try out a new skin. This is the Tato skin, which I want to say is from FM Wicked Soul. I really like it. It's very clean. It's very nice. This is the home panel. It's got some very nice things on it with key players. Then you have an all players list if you want to scroll through that. Atmosphere level of the club, team imageries, and stats. It's for teams that aren't you. If you're looking at your home, you have your next opponent, what they play, the stats that their expected tactical style, and then their statistics. You have your last match report, your assistant report on what you're doing. As you can see, we changed formation. That's one of the big things I'm going to talk about. The comparison your team depth chart, which is very nice, the hierarchy, your social groups, and then your squad. So one of the things that happened in the transfer window was that I looked at what was available. I looked at where we were good. I looked at where we were thin. And there just wasn't anyone out there I was willing to spend a ton of money for, especially at winger. We had Esposito. We had Fatuwu. I had 3 solid strikers up top. Xerxes, Clark is young. He's still learning. And then Pellegrini. My midfield was okay. It could have been strengthened. And there were actually a lot of midfielders available in the transfer window. And the more I looked at it, and the more I looked at who I had on my bench and a couple other things, I decided to switch the formation up. So we're now playing a 4-3-1-2 primarily. But before we get to that, I want to go to the transfer window here. So at the end of last season, the only out, and it's technically not really an out, was Kevin Nelson. He went to Fleetwood. Fleetwood's one of my affiliates. So I just assigned him to Fleetwood. Fleetwood said, hey, he's going to be an important player. And, that's that. Valentin Grigoras did qualify for a work permit. Joel Tizier did not. And then that leads me, just as an aside tangent here, to, I got to look at it. I'm looking at my notes right here. Hristo Lovkov, who we got from Septemvri Sofia for 200,000 euros. He was one of the guys I pointed out last season that he played 22 games for his club in Bulgaria, and they were and the vast majority of them were league games. Then he played 34 games for his league. I got him for 200,000 euros, or 200,000 pounds rather. I loaned him back. He played 30 games. And he still didn't qualify for a work permit. So I sent him to Montbéliard. And then, for whatever reason, he didn't sign with Montbéliard and ended up going to Applewell on loan. I'm not quite sure what happened there, to be honest with you. I signed him to the squad, and then I think what happened was I got a loan offer in for him for Applewell, and Applewell's paying money, and they're paying his full salary, and I clicked agree, and he decided to go to Applewell instead of FCSM. But I think he was at FCSM just long enough to actually, quote-unquote, be there. So release player-wise, we didn't have any this season. Free transfer-wise, Matthew Fisher went to Duverne, and Julian Malatini went to QPR. On the ends, we have Ben Elliott, and Scott Buckley-Ricketts. One of the things I did was I searched for available English players who were out of contract. The first one was Ben Elliott from Cameroon, but he's also got England as a second nationality. He's here just as depth for the under-23s and under-19s more than anything else. He's 22 years old. Physically, he's okay. Mentally, he's got some interesting skills. Technically, he's not too bad either, but he's literally 1.5-star current ability, 2-star potential ability. He's here because he's a guy that I can play on the 23s and the 19s. And then you have this Ben Elliott, who is also English, but he's a striker more than he is a midfielder, and frankly, he's not a very good striker. But he's 19 years old. I brought him in. He's got some interesting attributes in terms of 11 dribbling, 16 first touch, 13 technique, 14 vision, 14 teamwork. Physically, he's just not there, though. And mentally, he's okay. I have to change the color scheme around some, don't I? I do. I totally forgot to do that. But he's 1-star current ability, 1.5-star potential ability. So it's just one of those things where one of the things I did notice at the end of last season was that I really don't have a lot of depth in my under-19s, under-23s. And when push came to shove, there was a couple games last season where I really needed some depth. As a result, I had a lot of guys playing a lot of minutes, and they were picking up injuries left and right. Not major injuries. Teo Adamarola had the cornerstone on that last season. But loan deals, a lot of players going out on loan. Arda Güler, John Okeke, Abdoulaye Boateng, Tom Pierce, Hristo Lovkov, Joel Tizier, Jaden Raymond, Sean Smith, Francisco, Kean Coddington, Ayab Gedek. He also went to Sochaux. He's there until he gets a work permit. So, I think what happened was I sent Lovkov to Sochaux. He got there in July. And then in September, for some reason, he was still, quote-unquote, on loan and available, and Applewell asked for him, and he went. So he trained for a little bit at FCSM, and then he went to Applewell. Cash and clause transfers. This is where we were really kind of busy. Joachim Andersen went to Monaco. This was one of those cases where I definitely did not get the money I thought I deserved. He came in for 17. He left on 6.75. I tried teasing Monaco up, and they just wouldn't go for it. He wanted to move because it was Monaco. And I said, yeah, sure. Achilles Georgiou was one of my youth players that, 3.5-star ability, and I just didn't see a lot of improvement from him last season. But they offered me a decent amount of money. It's 975,000 euros. All of my youth intake players that I signed last year, all of them had at least 25 offers from different clubs. And they did the same thing this year that they did last year. They started out like, oh, hey, here's 15,000, here's 30,000. And then here's 100,000 with a 40% add-on fee and 400,000 in future fees, to the point where it's like, okay, here's 975,000 up front. So Bosco Sutalo absolutely pitched a fit at the end of last season that I didn't play him in his preferred position. And I essentially said, look, injuries forced me to play you in other positions that you're also very good at. He said, I don't care, I want to leave. And I said, okay, fine, you're leaving. And he essentially sat on the bench the last half of the season. We got more money for him than we brought him in for, so I count that as a small victory. That kind of offsets Anderson. Juanjo went to Leeds for $1.7 million. He's kind of lost in the shuffle. 19 years old, 2-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. I sent him out. I put him out available for loan, and a couple teams actually picked him up. Actually, I tried sending him down to Coventry. He didn't want to go there. I tried putting him out on loan, and the loan offers I accepted, he didn't sign for them. I finally said, look, I'm just going to get money for you, and we're going to call it good. So we brought him in for 1.3. He turned around and went to Leeds for 1.7. Antonio Blanco went to Stuttgart for 3.8 million, 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability, a little bit older, 25 years old. Did what I expected him to do when we brought him in. We got him in on a free. We loaned him out to Ipswich. Then last season, he was a bench player. But when you see the players I brought in on the ends, he was going to be lost in the shuffle. I wanted to move him to get at least some money for him. And then Sam Osei went to Preston for £425. And believe me, I may have gotten a deal on that. He's fast. He's physical. Decent acceleration, decent agility, decent bounce, decent pace, good determination, good flair, good leadership, good teamwork, nice dribbling, nice first touch, nice passing, and pretty much crap everywhere else. So on the ends, first, Oliver Skipp. Tottenham made him available. I picked him up for $16 million. He is now my ball-winning midfielder on the midline. Good physically, really nice mentally. Technically, he's a little bit low in some areas, dribbling, crossing, finishing, but he more than makes up for it in that he's got a decent first touch. He's a decent header. His marking is okay. His passing and tackling are very nice, and his technique is very good. Then Natan, who comes to us from Brasilia? Bragantino. With Sutalo leaving, I needed kind of a jack of all trades, master of none on the back line, and that's who Natan is. Physically, he's pretty good. Mentally, he's pretty good. Technically, he's good where it counts. Don't worry about the down arrows. It's FM being FM. It's one of those cases where it's like, oh, his balance was 13.2, now it's 13.1, so here's the down arrow. Bringing him in for $11.25 million, I may have overpaid for him, but he was the best available option out there for a defensive back who could play more than one position. Matvei Safonov, Real Hispalis put him out there, and I absolutely jumped all over him. The Russian keeper is 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. He's heads and tails better than Iturbe already. If this was a long-term save, if I knew this save was going on longer than the 3 seasons it has left, I would keep Iturbe, and I would play Iturbe. And by, I think, the end of Season 7, he will be where Safonov is now. But that's not that type of save. This isn't that type of save. So I need a keeper that I can trust to come in and do a credible job between the sticks. Altay Biandar was that keeper until he left. Safonov is that keeper now. And I don't know why Hispalis put him out there. It was one of those cases where I saw the agent thing come across. I took a look at him and saw what they were asking for him and was like, yeah, I'll go for that, especially with my transfer budget. So John Kevin Duverne is another one of those jack of all trade, master of none, except this time he's mostly right and center. So again, physically solid, mentally solid, technically solid, good where it counts. one of those guys, a lunch pail guy, comes in, knows his job, knows what to do and how to do it. 2.5-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. And for £3.6 million, I think we got a deal. And last but not least, Samuel Ricci from Lazio, who is a midfielder. He's going to be part of the midfield rotation. He's here as a backup more than anything else, but he will definitely get some starts. 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Again, physically solid, mentally solid, technically really good in the areas that matter. Technique, passing, first touch, dribbling's nice. Corners and crossings are okay. His long shots are okay. He's not a bad marker or tackler either. He's primarily a deep line playmaker, so he is going to be Stockbridge's main backup. And then I still have Chowdhury. Chowdhury can play ball-winning midfielder or box-to-box midfielder. And we've got options. So one of the things that happened with regards to the formation was, if I wanted to keep playing the 4-2-4, I would have had to bring in better depth players, I think. That was my feeling on the subject. Guys like Verone, guys like Baina, though they're all good, but if I wanted to go further, I needed to have a deep enough bench. And I just didn't. And I wasn't willing to spend the money I needed to in order to get that bench. But the more I looked at things and the more I moved people around and looked at them, the more I realized I had some really good personnel for 4-3-1-2. Fatu can play advanced midfielder. Baina can also play advanced midfielder, so he's a solid backup there. Jordan Clark, I could train him to be an advanced midfielder, but he is still going to be a striker. With Pellegrini, Xerxes, Sebastiano Esposito, and Clark, I have 4 strikers at the top that I have no problem switching in and out. Xerxes and Esposito can both play complete forward. Pellegrini and Clark can both play attacking forward. It's just a matter of mixing and matching. Stockbridge, Skip, and Gallagher are more than backed up by Sayoni is still here. Hamza Chowdhury is here. And Samuel Ricci. And then if push comes to shove, Jairo Riedwald is still here. He can play there as well. And then the defensive back line, Tan, Zagadou, Kasunu, and Laird with Safanov in goal. We've got Duverne. We've got Adamarola. Canales can play right back if necessary. You know what? Let me do this real quick. Iturbe is essentially my backup keeper now. I put him on the under-23s. So we have a lot of options. This way, we're a lot deeper on the bench than we were in the past, I think. I could be 100% in the wrong there, but we're not really going to find out until we get further into the season. Schedule-wise, things went pretty well in the offseason until we played Olympiacos. They beat us 3-2, and I frankly wasn't too worried about it because we played a fairly rotated side there. We were just coming off the Preston friendly. We drew with United. Esposito had a brace of goals. They got a Rashford goal in the 36th minute and a Vlahovic goal in the 7th minute to give them the lead. Esposito first scored in the 72nd minute, or in the 22nd minute rather, and then he scored in the 49th minute. So it's one of those games where I had just enough guys perform really, really well that we beat United. United did not have a good game. A lot of the guys were sub 6-8. So 7 times out of 10, they'd win that game, but we won it this time. Against Liverpool, this was a hard game. It was very, very even until the 68th minute when Lewandowski scored. We had our chances after that. We just could not put it in between the sticks. So Safanov had some really nice saves, even though the 6-6 isn't showing it. But again, we had just enough players who were subpar, 6'4", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", that we just couldn't do well against Liverpool. Liverpool did not play their A game, and yet they still won. They're the type of squad, they have the type of depth, they have the type of quality that they cannot play they don't have to play their A game to win. A lot of it depends on what their opponent does as well, and I think this was one of those cases where Liverpool was playing bad, so why don't we play bad too? It was really frustrating in that regards. So we got ourselves right against Burnley. This was also a bit of a battle. 1-0 Pellegrini goal in the 72nd minute. Had a lot of guys who were 7.0 or better. Didn't really see it. There weren't a lot of highlights in this match. So, it had to have been something with their statistics in the game that was helping them achieve those ratings. And then against Norwich, Pedro Pellegrini had a brace of goals in the 24th and 31st minute. Rashika got a goal in the 67th minute to make the game look closer than it actually was. And this was one of those games where we didn't play our A game, and then neither did Norwich, and that's why we won. So today, it's just going to be Benfica. Nuts. It's got to be Benfica and Leeds because we're playing the Carabao. You know what? I may just skip Leeds. I think I may just skip Leeds because what we're going to do today... Yeah, we're already 25 minutes into the episode. That's before I've done any editing, so I'll probably go down to 17 or 18. So we'll play Benfica as our one Let's Play for the day. We'll skip Leeds. We'll come back for Bayern, Brighton, and then Zebra Man City, and then probably Bayern, Watford. Something like that. So that we're playing all of our Champions League Group Stage opponents. I'm not sure if we're even going to get out of the group. I don't know that we will. And I think the fight for third is going to be an absolute dogfight as well. So they're all quality teams. It's the luck of the draw. We got a group full of strong teams. So unless Benfica or Juve or Bayern has a bad run, I think we're on the outside looking in. I think we're about equal with Benfica. But I could be projecting there. So let's check the formation. You know what? Let's get to the game here, and we will find out. One of the other reasons I switched formations was because of things like this happening. Pedro Pellegri's wanted now. Now, he signed a new contract, but Wolfsburg wants him. I suspect if Wolfsburg comes and makes him a very good offer, he will want to go there. As a result, if Pellegrini leaves, then Esposito or Clark become the primary advanced forward, with Xerxes in the complete forward role. And then after that, it goes down to like Verón and who would be next? Maybe Fatu. But Fatu is also a very good advanced midfielder. They have him as a trequartista on attack. I'd say just far less defensively. You know what? We'll give it a try. We got so we're gonna have Pellegrini and Xerxes up top. Fatu, Stockbridge, Skip, and Gallup. No, this needs to change. Stockbridge is the deep line playmaker. Skip is the ball-winning midfielder, and Gallagher as the box-to-box midfielder. Natan, Zagadou, Kasunu, and Laird as the defensive back four, with Safanov in goal. Stockbridge is not doing well, so we'll bring on Ricci, who is also a very good deep-line playmaker. And he's also a capable box-to-box and ball-winning midfielder. That's one of the reasons I got him. Anyone else especially knackered? No, just Stockbridge. Bring Clark on so he can come on if we need him to. So we got Duverne, Stockbridge, Sayoni, Esposito, Grigoras. Who needs to start? So we're going to move Kasunu over, bring Laird off, and bring Grigoras on. I can't remember. Does he want to be a ball-playing defender? Let's find out. He wants to be a ball-playing defender. Does he have a preference? No, it's a natural preference. He's very strong on the right foot. So I am okay with that. Now, this is the player screen. I like it because, again, in the center table, you have like contract, fitness and injuries, analysis, and then statistics. This has come in quite handy on a couple of occasions. You have your training over here, but you can also change that down to like attribute analysis and things like that. But I just leave that on training, career stats, his regular stats, past injuries, things like that, current fitness. This up here with his positioning and whatnot. Personal information. So it's a very nice layout. It's a very nice skin. I have very little to quibble about this. I'm sure I can find some if I look for them. This is a very good skin. Let's save the game here real quick. Because if I don't, I think it goes all the way back to 2 games ago. And of course, watch this be the time like my graphics card or something decides to go, no! So one of the things I'm finding is happening with the 1,000 years save I've got going on right here that I'm looking at now. It is 2141. Apparently, if you don't interact with the game on a somewhat regular basis, there's an issue with the graphics card where it's either the memory goes full or there's a memory leak of some sort, and it decides it's going to crash. And when it crashes, the game crashes. Make those guys wing back. So, instruction-wise, we've got pass ball into space, whip crosses, work ball in the box, focus play through the middle, take short kicks, distribute center backs, counter press, force opposition inside, higher defensive line, higher line engagement, offside trap. With the wingbacks on automatic, and I tend to play positive, they will get forward. The midfielders will also get forward. At least in theory, it works out really well. Well, in practice, it's a whole new thing. Iñaki Peña, Vanderson, Versimo, Denayer, Suarez. Gabriel Barbosa is a name I recognize. Playing in Benfica. That's a nice stadium. So I'm going to pause it here. One of the other things I like about this skin is that you've got your match analysis, and you've got your analysis here, which is also quite handy. It's got the statistics. Here's your match statistics. Then it has the home team stats. It has the away team statistics. This is what Teng Fu had, but he had it all compressed into one screen, and it was a little bit annoying at the end of the day, to be honest with you, because there was just so much information. So here's the heat map, which I tend to pay a lot of attention to, and the password for the moment. So we will look at the heat map here. Then I think we'll leave the Benfica formation up. I think this one here. Yeah, I can put this on the statistics and see if anybody gets injured or anything like that. A half hour in, no highlights this first half. This is both good and bad. Ball's knocked away. Bjorken's going to run it down. Someone picked up an injury. Fatu. Twisted knee. Okay, we need to pause this here. And we'll bring on Esposito. But Esposito doesn't like to be a trequartista. He likes to be an attacking mid. Although he can also do trequartista. You know what? We'll leave him on trequartista. Stefanov taking his time. Kicks the ball. Pligri heads it down to Fatu. Gets the ball to Xerxes. Xerxes takes a shot and he scores. That was nice. Now, one of the other things I've done this season is I've also pulled back my view just so I can see the players and how they move a little bit better. But I do go in for the close-up on the replays. That was a nice shot by Xerxes. It's a nice assist by Fatu, but he wants to come off, so we will take him off. They're playing really, really high. We're being pushed back, but that is okay, especially if we can hit him on the counter like that. Well, it's just past 60 minutes. They're saying Pellegrini picked up a thigh injury. So we'll bring on Clark for him. Got a couple of guys who aren't having the best games in the world, but you know what? We're going to hold on here. Maybe get to about the 75th, 80th minute and see what happens. Barco crosses it in. Arajal's there. It hits the crossbar and goes over. Netan throws it in. Skip to Clark. Clark crosses it. Gabby gets in front of Xerxes, but Xerxes knocks the ball away. Gallagher over to Kasunu. Kasunu back to Ricci. Ricci to Grigoris. Grigoris all the way back to Stefanov. Stefanov bombs it forward. Skip heads it down. Ends up at Barco's feet. He passes it up to Gabby. Gabby to Ba. Ba crosses it. Ramos is there. But I can't tell. I think that went off a Palace player because it's definitely a corner kick. Yeah, they're saying Skip's gas. Zagadou knocks it away. They have a goal kick. Okay. Take a look here. Got a lot of players who are gassed. But Natan on a 6-4. I would much rather bring Ethan Laird on. That's not bad. The passing's nice. This is I like the size of this. This is very, very nice. Get some nice shots. 88. Who's 88? Oh, that's them. Okay. Kasunu on the throw-in. Should be last highlight of the game. Ricci back to Kasunu. Kasunu to Ricci. Kasunu to Ricci to Gallagher. Gallagher to Kasunu. Kasunu all the way back to Stefanov. Stefanov just bombs it forward. Verissimo picks it up. Skip steps in front of the Benfica player. Driving left. He's fouled. Esposito, curving kick in. Gabby just knocks it away. Gallagher runs it down, hopefully. And that is the game. With a 1-0 victory, thanks to a Xerxes goal in the 36th minute, we escape with a 1-0 victory. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that shape there. Those guys are playing awful close together. We had 9 shots, 5 on target. They had 17 and 5. A very good win, fellas. And Bayern and Inter have not played yet. Or Juve. Fortunate to beat Benfica. I don't know, I would say fortunate. I mean, we definitely played well enough. They didn't play well enough. You know, maybe if we played 10 times, they might beat us 6 or 7 out of 10, but it was a good win for us. It was a very good win for us. Pligri out 5 to 8 days. And we got 2.39 million. Ricci made his Crystal Palace debut. That was really, really good. I've got to fix my training here. Part of me wonders if the changes I made were a season too late. Maybe we should have switched formations up last season, gone a different route with some of the players. But I like what we have now. I like the fact that we have a lot of versatility with our players, and they fit the 4-3-2-1 or the 4-3-1-2 better than they fit the 4-2-4. So I like the fact that, you know, if Fatua goes out, I can bring in an Esposito, or drop an Esposito down and bring in a Pellegrini, or drop an Esposito down and bring in a Clark. You know, there's going to be plenty of rotation going on this season. I don't know that you'll see one player. Well, Safanov is probably the only player I would expect to start every game if he's healthy. So maybe a couple of the midfielders. But yeah, we're going to try and get a rotation going this season. We're going to try and keep everybody healthy, and we're going to do what we can to challenge for first. Past couple of seasons, it's just been annoying because one team has always kind of run away with it. So, let's see how we do. And if anything goes wrong, we can always blame me. If you did like what you've seen and heard, please have a like. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name is F. Angelico, and thank you for watching.